Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Welcome back to the Misunderstood Show. It's been a little bit. We took a little bit of a break, had some personal things going on, but I'm very excited to be back, especially our first show back. We have one of my very favorite warranty people. This in East Texas. I do have a girl in San Antonio that I've loved forever. But yeah, this is my girl here. She's been my girl here for about 3 years. This is Maurie Pfaff.
It's actually Maurie Pfaff Reynolds because I've been Maurie Pfaff forever in the industry. Yeah. Then I got married, and there's a lot of things you change around and don't want to change around.
Yeah. So. No, I don't have my previous last name as my last name, but I have it as a second middle name.
Yeah.
And so
it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Because so many people know me as Maurie Pfaff, so I was like, I'm sure my husband would love me to hyphenate everything. I should probably do that soon, but Maurie Pfaff Reynolds works.
Yeah.
You'll find me.
Yeah.
I'll find you. No, just kidding. But yeah.
Yeah. So she's with Choice Home Warranty. Mm-hmm. And she was top sales last month.
Yeah.
Correct. And then you're also
3.
top sales for the year. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you're the area manager or correct for the real estate market division?
For the real estate division for Choice.
Yeah.
I launched the real estate division for Choice. So Choice Home Warranty had 2 divisions. We had a direct to consumer, and then we, as in me and 12 other, created a real estate division in 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, I started in 2012.
It's quite a while.
Yeah. So
yeah, you were a baby.
I was young. I mean, for like a bigger job like this, I was young. I was 20. Oh, that's going to date me.
You're going to give away your age.
I'm going to date me. But yeah, I was young. I was younger than I would I'm shocked they gave me the job. We'll say that.
Well, you're pretty amazing.
It is. So it's a good job. It's fun.
It was a good choice. Whether you're young or old, either you have it or you don't.
That's totally it. Yeah.
I mean, you can't teach this job to people.
No.
That's the thing. Because we kind of work in the same
thing.
We
do kind of
business development, marketing.
You have to be able to put on different elbows. Hats. Yeah. And you have to be able to you got to do a lot of things.
Yes.
You wear a lot of different hats.
Yes.
Your customer service, your accounting, you do it all.
Event planners, caterers, contract writers, quote
therapist. Yes. Yes. But we don't get paid nearly as much for that. But no, it is. It's a good gig, and the real estate industry is always changing. There's always something new. Yeah.
It's never boring, which is what I love about it.
Yeah.
I did insurance when I was super young, right out of high school. Took an insurance job, got my P&C license, and got my life insurance license. And I was in the office.
Yeah.
And so I was bored out of my mind.
That would kill me.
It was killing my soul. People yelled at me all the time.
Yeah.
They hated paying their auto insurance and home insurance, or they claim wasn't paid or
wasn't paid as much.
Oh no. I'm so glad I'm out. It makes me cringe.
Yeah.
I dearly love my insurance people, especially the good ones.
Yeah.
That actually take the time to explain things correctly and make sure that you are getting the best rate, make sure that you are getting the best coverage for your situation.
Totally.
And not trying to tack on stuff that you don't need to make an extra dime, I do have some great insurance people, and I love them, and I am very grateful for them.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I don't do what they do right now. I'm glad I didn't.
It'd be hard.
It just wasn't for me. I think the people that are in it that I love, they love their job, and they're so good at it, and they explain it, and they're just really good at it to each their. They like being behind the desk. They are like, Karen, I could not do your job. You wear me out. Right.
Yeah.
And I get worn out. Don't get me wrong.
We're like squirrels. We're just kind of like everywhere.
By Friday, I'm not.
By Friday, we're done.
Yeah, I'm like a dead squirrel.
Yeah, it's true. It is. We're really slow squirrels at that point, but it is. It's funny because people ask me like, "Oh, do you have an office?" And I'm like, "No, I've been remote before remote was cool." Like I've never had an office.
I do have an office. I mean, I have an office.
Yeah, you do.
Well, it's really like a closet. When I moved in, it was a closet.
And they've moved
there's no windows.
all the like paper over
It's
here
brick,
for you.
you know. I have a little desk in there, and so if I need to go in there and work,
Yeah.
and we have an attorney that comes to our office sometimes, and he will use my office, or if somebody else needs to use it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not in there very often, and I have an office at home because I can work at home all weekend, all night, whenever I need to. I can get on my desk and do what I need to do and print and whatever. So I don't have to drive to the office to do stuff,
right?
Which is kind of because I'm always going here and there and everywhere. I might be going south, have to drive north to the office, and then have to drive back south. I don't want to have to do that.
Yeah.
And we are growing exponentially.
Yeah.
We have doubled our revenue this year. We were talking.
Congratulations.
We just had a sales meeting.
Yeah.
And so, it was like $5 million for the year, and now we're at like $10 million. I don't want to brag too much, but
that's cool though.
We are like the fastest growing title company, I think, in Texas or something.
You should say that louder.
I know. It's amazing. It's just, we have such an amazing owner. I just got to spend a couple of days with him and get to know him even better. And he's just such a down-earth guy. He's like getting up, getting drinks. He's like, do y'all want something? Do y'all need anything?
It makes a difference, though.
Yeah.
It really does. When you're working with people who care about what you're doing and not just numbers. Like, numbers are great.
Right.
But I've always believed that it comes organically if you are genuine, you know? Yep. And if you're genuine on what you want to do. Like, I've always said, I want to be the educational piece to this whole gig because I noticed like 6 months into this job. So you get trained one way, right? You get trained in sales to be like, oh, go be salesy.
And these scripts.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All these scripts. I don't do scripts.
Me
and
either.
there's still lots of people in my organization that do, and some managements that love it. Don't kill me, but I hate scripts. And so
it's not organic. And
it's
people
not.
know it.
People can hear it, you know? I just, it doesn't even sound like something I would say. So you're trained one way. So my younger self, when I first got in it, was very trained like sell. And I noticed like right off the bat, like, why was I having so many more claims? Because there shouldn't be so many claims questions. And then I realized there was this missing link, and I'm kind of giving away secrets here, but I realized there was this missing link between what was actually going down to the pipeline with the buyer and what they're receiving as far as information when it comes to warranty and misconceptions of them.
Misunderstandings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And really like what they really truly are. Because like they don't cover the moon.
Right.
But in sales, they really want you to be like, oh yeah, they do. They cover everything, and they don't.
Your videos are very educational. I love them.
They're
very like... I love that they're not staged.
Yeah.
They're just like in your car
Half
or
the
wherever
time,
you're at.
Yeah.
Just kind of on the go.
Yeah.
I love it. And
a lot of times
you're like, by the way, this just came up and I wanted to do like a short video. Hey, by the way, I think you had one recently that was about, and this, I'm sure you've done this multiple times because you have to do the same education over and over because you have new people.
Right.
But it was about, it was like the warranty on...
Yeah, differences between manufacturer warranty and home warranties.
Which the manufacturer warranty comes first. That's primary.
We'll always trump a home warranty company no matter what.
And that's almost in anything. I mean, that's in cars,
everything.
Computers, phones.
You name it.
If you buy a phone from AT&T and it has a manufacturer warranty still, they're going to go through them, not AT&T.
Totally.
So this is a warranty thing. This isn't just home warranty or just choice home warranty.
No.
This is a...
Across the board, blanket statement.
Right.
For pretty much anything.
So like if you buy a washing machine from Home Depot and it still has the GE factory warranty, you have to go through GE. You cannot go through Home Depot.
Right. Exactly.
They're going to tell you, well, you just bought it 6 months ago.
Yeah, call the manufacturer.
Right. Yeah. And people are like, what? And then they can't get a hold of them, which is a pain because the manufacturers sometimes are not the easiest to deal with. Totally. Which I shouldn't say GE because I actually have had a really good experience with GE.
Oh,
it's good. Samsung that I've had issues with.
Yeah.
Major issues with Samsung. Major issues with, what is the other one that's really common and you would probably know?
Well, GE and Samsung have most of the market share at this point.
I actually like GE. They're not bad. I buy mostly GE now.
The hard part with it and home warranty is that, and I feel for homeowners at this point because they've went through the motion. They've filed a claim. A text came out to their house. Most cases, they've already paid a trade call fee. And then we find out, well, bummer, it's under manufacturer warranty, which a lot of times nobody's going to know until a tech goes to a house.
I feel like, what if y'all ask them how old is your appliance? Or
so we've actually started a new program where we can kind of do that and put in some of the data for that. Like, hey, what's your model number, serial number? But the problem is so many people are like, I have to crawl to the attic to find that. And they don't want to. So they'll just wait till a tech comes out. But the reason I posted that video is because a lot of times homeowners just feel frustrations. And a lot of those phone calls are what I get. So I tried to inform my community, which is real estate agents, why you might feel some of these frustrations from your clients. And that's just one, because it's kind of out of all of our control.
And then they can share those videos with their clients.
Yeah, they can pass this information on too. In fact, I recorded a video while I was in my car today speaking about, because I'm seeing it happen. I've seen it happen before, but it kind of goes in waves. There's one right now with how the Texas contract is wrote for home warranties. It's wrote as a residential service contract. You'll be reimbursed up to X amount of dollars.
Right.
So again, saying you'll be reimbursed up to X amount of dollars. Well, reimburse, when you hear reimburse, what does that mean to you?
You'd pay it front.
Yeah.
And then you get a check later.
So unfortunately, there's a lot of buyers right now where if an agent isn't kind of going through that piece with them in the contract, they go and buy a home warranty, they throw it on a credit card, and then they're all sorts of confused because they end up with the wrong product. Title's going, wait a second, what did we do here? This was supposed to be a credit from the seller. You were never supposed to buy one. Now you have a lender going, you did what kind of charge on a credit card? So it's a big piece, again, that's misunderstood, that like, because of the way that contract's written. So it's a big one that I want to even tell people, like, do not buy the home warranty. If you are under a contract in a real estate sale and a seller is buying you one, do not buy it out of pocket.
Even if they're not buying you one, you don't want to buy it until you have closed.
Correct.
Because what if it falls apart?
Yeah, if it doesn't,
you've already paid for the home warranty.
Exactly. I had a lady that she had done that with another home warranty company. The deal fell apart. She had to call back and get a refund from that one. She was switching to us anyway anyway, it's just a mess. So really and truly shouldn't buy one until after the fact if they're not providing one.
I love to tell people, because it's the same with title, just because the seller is paying for the home warranty doesn't mean they have the right to choose where your home warranty is.
Totally. Same thing with
buyer.
yes.
Yeah, the buyer gets to choose. Yep. The policy is for the buyer.
Correct.
And so the buyer, no matter who's paying for it, the buyer chooses who they want their home warranty with, and they should definitely choose and research and make sure that they have a good person. And it's not just about the company, it's about having that person that they can call when they have a problem.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
And that's what's important to me, is when the crap hits the fan, I want to be able to call you and say, hey, Maurie, I need your help. I need your help. What do I do? You know, and you can tell me, hey, go check to see if there's a manufacturer warranty. Or, you know, if I'm an agent, my client's calling me, hey, I need to make a claim on my warranty. Sure. I don't even remember a lot of times they don't even remember where they bought it.
Yeah, a lot of times they don't even know.
Yeah, and so they're calling their agent, hey, you know, do you remember what home warranty you had? And so luckily we all have that on file. Yeah. Right? We can look it up. Yeah, even as a title company, we usually have it in the paperwork so we can look up to see where the home warranty was, and we can, you know, direct them in the right place. Something that I love too about having somebody like you is that you always answer the phone.
Yeah.
You always answer you may not answer it right then.
Yeah, you will get a response from me.
But you get a response.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have multiple text messages.
I don't have to go 1 for this option, 3 for this option, and wait on hold. And
so, like, I find it interesting that, like, as we're turning over this new leaf of the world, that we are all complaining about customer service, right? Because, like, I get it. We're this fast speed, innovative world where we can just do everything on a portal and blah, 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 blah. And I love it all. I do, to a degree. But then there are times where, like, I just need to talk to a person.
That's correct.
Like, you talk to a lot of people that are complaining about different companies, and they're just like, I'm not even talking to warranty. We can talk banks. We can talk.
Oh, let me tell you about
anything,
banks.
Right? I just need somebody to pick up the phone. And it's interesting to me that there are so many home warranty companies online that do not even have local reps. So, like, I'm here, my competitors, this one's for you, that are like got boots on the ground in Houston. If anything, choose somebody that's local, that lives here, that
that's
you can
going to stick around.
Yeah, exactly.
And not disappear in 6 months or a year.
That is also, like, home warranty reps. I mean, we go through people like crazy. Like, I mean, to say I've done this for 10 plus years,
Because
I'm a grandma. Like, I am a senior citizen grandma in the industry because it is a very hard job. So we see a lot of reps come and go within, I mean, 2 years is kind of their max and then they're done. But the point being, find somebody that is local because there's so many home warranty companies online, but you can't get a hold of those people ever when you need them. Yeah. They'll sell you a policy.
Title reps are the same.
Yeah. So
high turnover.
It is. You've got to find somebody that like is going to be around.
Or that has been around.
Yeah. Or has been around.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If they've made it past that 2 years, you know,
Yeah.
typically they're going to stick.
Yeah.
Especially the first year.
Yeah.
And title, if they don't make it in the first year, I mean, they're going to know. They're not going to. I mean, a lot of them quit.
Yeah.
Because they're like, this is the hardest job I've ever done. I just heard that. I was at an event last week, and there was a girl that used to be a title rep, and she was like, I don't know. And then there was another girl I talked to. She's a newer title rep. She was an agent. She's like, I don't know how you do this job.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
I think it's, I mean, like real estate in general is a lot, but it goes back to just a lot of the different hats that we have to wear. And
juggling.
A lot of juggling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to really be able to
Focus.
be pretty darn good at it.
And prioritize.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is I don't know, I think you just have to be tenacious.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very tenacious. You can't give up. And you just
Yeah.
have to keep figuring out what works for you in your market with your clients.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be different for every single person. And that's why you can't teach it really.
Yeah.
Because the people that like you may not be the people that like me.
True.
You know, we kind of run in the same
similar,
crowd.
yeah, but
you know, different people are different, and they're going to work with different people.
Yep.
And what works for those people is different things. Some people like happy hours. Some people want all CE classes, you know, in my job. And your job is kind of the same thing, right? You've got people who want this and that or whatever
and I have
kind of
different
help.
pockets. Like,
and you want people, there's people who want to call you at 9:00 at night.
Yeah.
And then there's, you know, people who want to call you at 6 in the morning. I'm the kind of person, call me in the morning. Don't call me at 9:00 at night. I'm not going to answer my phone.
Yeah.
I'm asleep.
Yeah. I'm in bed by 9 for the most part, y'all.
I'm like,
Yeah.
8:30, I'm like, I'm going to take my shower.
Yeah.
If I can, unless we have like a baseball game.
And I mean,
or
it's
something.
funny too, even in like my side of it, because I cover such a broad area, like different pockets are in Houston are definitely different than other pockets of Houston. So
For sure.
what I may do in the Galleria may not work in Montgomery. What I do in Montgomery might not work in the Galleria.
Even how you dress.
So
like, I don't wear this when I go into Houston.
it's definitely
I
different
wear
that way,
like
too.
my, you know, bougie slacks and
You have to like,
look
so
like a city girl.
you have to kind of be a chameleon. You have to be able to mold into different things.
I think in a way, yes, but I think we're always still the same.
Yeah.
I'm definitely still like the same.
I think it's you
Karen.
find what is you find what is you, which for me has always just been honest about it because that's what works for me. And I'm not really great at sales pitches because I don't like them. That's
Right.
what I've noticed. Like I don't like if I walk into somewhere, I'm like I don't care, just like give it to me straight.
Well, and if you're fake, you're not going to attract the right kind of people
Right.
for you.
Yeah, it's true too.
And so it's not going to work out anyway. And then you're just wasting your time and their time.
Exactly.
So just be real.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Be direct. This is how I work. This is what, you know, this is how it works for me. And so for the most part, I think people just really want you to answer the phone.
Yeah.
And call them back. Even if I'm not saying people can't call at 9:00 at night.
Yeah.
You can call
They
me
do,
at
for
3 in the
sure.
morning,
Yeah.
okay? But I'm not going to answer my phone.
Right.
I will call you back. If you text me, I have people that text at 11:30
Sure.
at night because they're writing a contract.
Yeah.
And I totally get that. I used to be a realtor and I used to do that.
Yeah.
But I slept till 9,
Yeah.
you know, on a Saturday or Sunday. I don't do that now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I will be texting you though at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning sometimes because I wake up, I check my phone and I'm like, oh, you know, I immediately start texting people at 6, 7 in the morning that text me at 11:30 at night and I'm probably waking them up. But I'm like, if I don't get to you right away and I start my day, I'm not going to get, you know, I want to get back to you as soon as possible.
And I think one thing that kind of went unnoticed for a long time in the industry, but I think it's kind of changed, is I am seeing a lot more people kind of doing some healthy boundaries of like what their boundary, and it's all boundary specific, right?
We can't be beck and call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It is not possible for anybody to be available 24/7. It's just not. It's not healthy. Number one, it's not healthy mentally.
If you want that, call the customer service line at the 1-800 number.
But regardless, it's not healthy for anybody. So everybody has to have some healthy boundaries because most of us are doing this as a job to help provide for something else. We want to give to our families, or we're trying to do another venture, or whatever it might be. So we all have to have healthy boundaries.
Speaking of other ventures.
Yeah, we can dig into that one too. But like, I think it's good that I've seen that in real estate happen more, where there is starting to see some like healthy boundaries, and we're all being a little bit more accepting of like what boundary works. And so if you're a night owl, cool. If you're a morning gal, great. But we can make it all work by just being responsive. I think at the end of the day, it's just still be responsive.
And you have to let people know. You have to set the tone with them from the very beginning. I just tell my realtors, send me an email at 11 o'clock at night. That's fine. Send me a text at 11 o'clock at night. That's fine. Or even I have a guy, he's a commercial guy. He works at 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to respond to you until the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just, you're setting the tone.
Most people know
and they
that.
understand.
Yeah.
You do have those people, the very, very rare unicorns out there that want you to answer the phone when they call, no matter when they call, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And I'm like, I'm a human.
Yeah.
That's why most people like me, is because I'm a human that answers my phone and can help you and cares and wants to, go above and beyond and explain things to you. But I'm not a call center.
Yeah.
And so I think, like you were saying, people are kind of getting back to we kind of went from suddenly we have the internet and call centers and all this stuff. Oh, wow, this is amazing. We have 24-hour service, to, wow, this isn't really working.
Yeah, it went through this peak of like, ooh, instant gratification. And then we realized that like, sometimes when you do instant gratification, you don't always get the best answers. Exactly.
That's right.
So it's almost like we went through this shift of like, if you just hold tight, you're going to get a better, more genuine, more explained answer of the situation. And so
I'm going to throw some people under the bus. USAA. My husband loves them.
Yeah.
Loves them.
Yeah.
Great company. I have a lot of friends who've worked there. They love their jobs. They were able to, have great careers. But I could not stand them. Like, I've worked with them in insurance. They were our competitor, having to deal with them if we needed to switch it over because they always had higher rates. Or then I worked in real estate. So if I put an offer on a house and my client was using USAA, or if I had a house listed and they would put an offer from USAA, a lot of times we would turn it down because they would take 90 days to close.
Yeah.
Like, ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get answers and they wouldn't answer the phone. Well, my husband loves USAA. He had his insurance there and he had his banking there. Well, he still has banking there. But I was like, dude, like, the premiums are high. The customers are, like, I have an insurance girl. I can text her, hey, da-da-da-da-da. She's like, she's been my friend for 15 years.
Yeah.
And I love her to death. And I'm just like, I know she's going to take care of me. I know I can text her and be like, hey, I'm going on a trip. I need you to add rental car service to my policy. And then when I get back in 2 weeks, can you please remove it? Done.
You know what's happening.
And so it's kind of I probably shouldn't even say that on air that she does that, but I'm not really supposed to do that. But I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't need it here.
Yeah.
Because we have multiple cars. But if we go on a trip somewhere, I don't want to be stranded somewhere without a rental car.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
I got
So
you.
I do that when I go out of town. And she does that for me. She's fabulous. Also, recently, she saved us $90 a month. She flipped our names on our policy. She put my husband's name first and me second, because I was first because that was my policy originally. She flipped our names because his credit score is like 800 something and mine's like a 700 something, which you would think it wouldn't matter at that point. It did. $90 a month.
That's kind of crazy.
Isn't it?
It is.
I've been telling everybody, I'm like, I didn't even think, I kind of rememred it from back in the day when I did this because I started in 1999 in insurance. So this was so long. That's how old I am.
No.
Okay. So
that's just crazy that like,
so she like did that and took care of like saving. Other people aren't going to, other companies aren't going to do that for you. Right. So the banking, right. We finally switched the banking. And he wanted to keep his USA, but we were just going to keep that as like an extra account for like travel and stuff because they are abroad, like, all over the world.
Yeah.
I bank at Frost. I love Frost Bank. Like you were saying, I can call Frost and they answer the phone. There's no like push this to push. And when you go in, it's always the same people. Like customer service.
Bank of America, I'm going to put them on heat real quick.
Oh.
They literally closed their lobby at like 4 p.m. Kate, what about us? What like working folk here? Like we are not off work.
I have not had a good experience with them either.
Why is the lobby closed at 4?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're just not. We're gonna blast them, but like for real. Like what about people that work? You know?
So USAA, like the customer service. So we were trying to get me on his account.
Yeah.
We called like 4 different times, spent an hour each time.
Yeah.
They still couldn't figure it out. Yeah. One time he called him and said, "Oh, you can't have 2 people on one account." Then they told him you can't have. Like all this stuff, like it's just been this whole, and I started having some of my money go into that account as like an extra like spending account.
Yeah.
To separate it, because I like to have my billing account and my spending account, and I like to have all these different. I'm like a hoarder of money, even in my house. Like I have like hidden places. Hopefully my kids don't watch this.
Right,
they don't watch my show. They think I'm such a dork. But I'm like, did y'all watch my show? They're like, no. I told an influencer and they were like, okay, Mom.
You're like, yes, I am.
I influence old people. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway, so I just, like they just could never, I'm still like, I have no access to that money and I still have money going in the account. Now I have to go back to my employer and have them change that money back to Frost because I just can't deal with it.
I know.
It's such a nightmare. My husband was like, never mind. I get it. Now I understand what you're saying about USA. He's like, I just never really had problems. I'm like, but you probably never like made any changes.
Yeah.
But if you have a problem or you have to make changes, like what a nightmare. So yeah, that kind of stuff. And I've dealt with that. I had insurance or I had a home warranty on my first house and it was through Home Shield.
Yeah.
America's Home Shield. Is that what it's called?
That's what it's called. Yeah. So my point is
horrible customer service.
It's hard, yeah.
And I didn't have a rep.
Yeah.
And
See,
so
that's where a rep makes a difference.
When I got into real estate, I got a rep and I had a rep in San Antonio and she was amazing. She still is amazing.
Yeah.
She's so far away now. I don't
sure,
talk to her. But that's when I realized, oh my gosh, like the customer service is what matters. I want to be able to call my insurance person like on their cell phone. I want to be able to call my home warranty person on their cell phone. I want to be able to call my title person on their cell phone. I want to be able to call can you imagine if you couldn't call your real estate agent on their cell phone? Like they would not have a job.
No.
And so the customer service portion of this to me is the most important. Like even if you're paying more money, to me it's much more important. Yeah. To have good customer service because dealing with the headaches of corporations and call centers in the Philippines,
it's difficult, and I feel like we're all complaining about it. So we all need to make some changes on, okay, well, where do I need to put business? So
make some changes, USAA.
So I don't have the same gripe, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's my big thing. There's a lot of home warranty companies online. Try and look for the people that are obviously local and go with somebody that's been in it for a minute. It's funny because I will start a presentation saying, oh yeah, I've been doing it for 10 plus years. And I don't know how many people really care about that. But back to your point, when people are turning over so much, it's really...
and having the knowledge that you have.
Yeah, I was going to say 9 times out of 10, if I get a phone call that's claim related, I can finish their sentence before they've even got to it because I know what the problem is. Like I've dealt with it probably 100 times. And that's a valuable thing as a real estate agent to have in your back pocket, to have that kind of person on your team. I think that's
makes
a big
you look
part.
good too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big piece of it. But yeah, I mean,
I think that, because when I bought my first house, I didn't know what home warranty person to choose. My agent was like, oh, here's these 3 reputable big companies.
Well, and a lot of people don't even know the difference.
She didn't even know, right? And so she was actually kind of a newer agent, but she worked at USA and Mortgage for like 15 years. So I knew she knew real estate. Yeah. And she was very smart and she took care of us, but she didn't know that part, right, yet. And so I got this warranty and not knowing, and I feel like that's why it's so important for the agent because they're usually the ones referring out the warranty company. Yeah. And, I didn't blame her for it, obviously having a bad warranty, but man, it would have made her look so much better had she referred me to a warranty company where it had a Maurie to answer the phone and help me. Yeah. Thank you so much, so-and-so realtor, for referring me to Maurie because I didn't have to deal with this big headache that I've been dealing with for the last 20 years every time I call a home warranty. Yeah. right?
Yep.
The night
True.
and day difference. When people experience that, they never turn back.
Yeah. I have renewal, like my renewal percentage is super high
I'm sure.
because people are like, they know they can get a hold of me. So like I have one of the highest renewal percentages even in my company of people renewing because at least I answer the phone.
That
You
was
know
me
what I
in
mean?
insurance.
Like, they might not like get the exact answer that they want because it is a good denial for one way or another, but at least they can get a hold of me.
Yeah.
Which I just think is valuable.
I think
Period.
so. I think also, like, you know, I haven't been in my job as long as you, but I've been in title for 3 years.
Yeah.
How long has it been? 3.5 years.
I was gonna say, isn't it closer to-
Time is flying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does.
Flies. It feels like a hot minute, but I have learned so much, and
Yeah.
I just feel like it never ends. You're all in real estate. I'm always learning.
Yeah,
Because real
you
estate
do.
is like a never ending.
Yeah.
That's why I love it, because it's always changing.
There's always something.
I don't get bored. I was
No.
bored to death in PNC insurance because it is black and white. Is what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, except now with all the crazy home warranty stuff, but
Yeah.
I was bored, and I love always just this new deal and oh wow, that's crazy, like this crazy scenario of things
And
happening.
title sees some crazy stuff.
Oh, we see
Y'all
it's even
you-
crazier in title than it is actually as a real estate agent, because we see 50 to 100 deals a month.
And you see so many behind the scenes things.
I go in the
too.
office and Chrissy's like, oh my gosh, blah blah blah, or Angel's like, oh my gosh, or Tiffany or Gwen, or they always have a new story.
Yeah.
And it's great because we learn.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm addicted to learning. I've always been a nerd.
Yeah.
If I had been a college student for the rest of my life, I
Yeah,
would
like I
have
would've
been.
done it.
I would have just taken every single class.
Yeah.
Because I was like, ooh, I want to be a lawyer. I never wanted to be a nurse or a doctor.
Yeah.
Because I don't like touching people.
Yeah.
I like to hug people
Okay.
with clothes on.
Yes.
I actually prefer not to shake hands, and I've told people this because there's some people that aren't huggers really.
Yeah.
But once I explain this to them, they're like, oh. I'm like, I don't really like to shake hands because hands are gross.
Yeah. Hands are gross. We learned a lot about that after 2020.
No, I always liked that before
But
2020.
you know what's funny? Like the South is huggers. Like if you're not from the South, you have to learn too.
I'm a
Some
hugger.
people are not huggers.
And I'm not even like I'm a side, like some people are side huggers, and I get that. I'm not going to like,
No, you're like bear hug.
I'm a neck hugger. Like
Yeah.
I'm like all in, hug your neck.
Yeah.
That's a Southern thing.
Yeah, it
Like I
is.
want to like feel your pulse.
Yeah.
And release some tension.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like it is like a tension
It's
relief.
good. It's a
I
good
don't
thing.
know.
Yeah. Like you see those guys out with like their
Spreading
free
love.
hug signs.
That's me.
Like that would be you.
That's the Care Bear I am.
Yeah.
Free hug Care Bear.
Yeah, you should do it. Have you ever done that? You should go sit on a road, free hugs. I bet people would stop for you though. You'd probably get some crazy stories.
Some
They'd be
weird,
like,
some weird
she's-
men.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Don't do that. Then I'd
No.
feel bad if something happened.
I have some weird men in some of my,
yeah.
groups.
So don't do that. But I feel like you'd be good for that.
That's when I'm a side hugger.
Yeah. That's when I use my elbow. It's nice to meet you.
I'm like, hey.
Elbow bumps.
And I'm super tall too, so sometimes it's awkward.
Yeah, you are pretty tall.
Yeah, especially if I wear heels. I'm like
Yeah.
6'2",
Yeah.
6'3" sometimes. And then it's awkward. I'm like bending down to hug people, especially grown men. I'll put my arm around them,
You're like,
I do
"Hey."
it to my husband.
Yeah, because he's shorter than you. Yeah.
He's taller than me without shoes
But
on.
not without.
But when I wear heels,
Heels. Yeah,
I'm
you're
definitely taller
taller.
than him. And I will.
It's the same thing in our house.
So
though.
in the morning, sometimes if I leave, like on Thursdays, he stays home and takes Case into school because I have B&I.
Yeah.
And I have my 4-inch wedges on.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have shoes on.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, bye.
I know that's how it
I'm
is
like,
with
bye,
me and my
sweetheart. I like
husband.
kiss his
Bye.
forehead. He's like,
Okay, stop. Yeah. There's pros and cons of being tall.
it doesn't. He's
doesn't
very
matter. Yeah, he
secure.
don't
He's,
care about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, whatever. Take your stilts off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like an Amazon though. Like I do sometimes feel like an Amazon woman.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward.
You shouldn't.
I have
though.
like posture because I'm like,
Nah.
but I still want to wear my wedges because they look
I
cute.
know.
And most of
It's
them
a
are pretty
struggle.
comfortable.
For us tall girls, it's a struggle.
Yeah, how tall are you? 5'8"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 5'8" and some change. But like,
Yeah.
so then when you put like your heels on, you're tall. You're tall. And like,
How tall is your husband?
he's like we're about the same.
Okay.
Like 5'8" too. So
Yeah.
like anytime, I mean,
So
I
you
got
wear
used
heels.
to it. I had to get used to it.
Yeah.
I used to make fun of him. I'm like, it was like the Tom Cruise and what's her name?
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, because it really looks about like that. So
Oh, yeah.
but you get used to it. But I mean, us tall girls, there are some things.
I feel like they
that.
should feel lucky, though.
Yeah.
Because there's so many, like, I don't know, when you were growing up, did you have a lot of short guys, like, chase you around? I did. I always seemed like the short guys liked me. And then, like, the tall guys always like these super short girls. And I'm like,
Yeah, the balance
dude,
is different.
what's
right?
wrong?
Yeah.
This situation is all messed up.
Yeah.
Like, I had a guy, this guy, Joey Gutierrez. Oh, my best friend, if she's listening to this, she's going to laugh. He, like, loved me. And we were in middle school. And I was this big in middle school. So, very awkward. He was so sweet, though. He played football. He was shorter than me.
Yeah.
So, he drew a picture of him standing on a stool, kissing me, and put it in my locker.
That's cute, though.
It was very sweet. I'm still friends with his sister. I don't know what happened to him. But
Yeah.
he became like a boxer or something, like a lightweight boxer. He never grew, though.
No, he's always short. But those sometimes they're like those. Some of those boxers are short and feisty. Like
He's
they can,
thick,
Yeah.
muscular,
Yeah.
feisty, funny, sweet, but he's still short,
yeah.
you know? And I just was like,
It's weird because I never like when I was dating and stuff. I never was
couldn't
like
do it.
There was never like a list of things, right? Of like necessarily short. Tall,
You never made a
whatever.
list?
Not necessarily.
I made a
no.
list.
Did you?
I made a list when I was 40 years old.
Well, okay, that's a little. I feel like at 40 versus like 20.
I think I had a list back then, too.
But I bet they changed.
Oh, yes,
from
I did
22
because
from
me
40.
and my friend
Those are
Jennifer,
big differences.
this girl I worked with in insurance for years,
Yeah.
she was 4'7". So we worked side by side. It was hilarious because I
Awesome.
was giant. I would give her like piggyback rides and stuff.
Yeah.
We made lists of things. Like we had this thing as a 4-leaf clover, and you had to have the four different qualities. You know,
Crazy. No.
we were silly. We were like 21, 22.
I can understand it at 21, but
Yeah.
I actually can understand it at 42 because by 40 you're like
At 40, I
there's
had
like
it wasn't 4
mandatory-
things. It was 36 things.
there's like mandatory
Legit.
things.
I have the
Like,
list.
you
I'll show
have
it
to,
to
yeah,
you.
you have to have. You have
And so
to
when
fill
I
out
met
the
my
list.
husband, it said over 6 foot.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah,
So,
so-
did you almost scratch him off?
People would ask me, did he have all the things on the list? And I'm like, all but one.
Yeah,
He was shorter.
she was shorter.
And my friend Wesley, and I've talked about this, I need to have my husband come on the show one day and we just tell
should.
our story because everybody always wants to hear our story.
Yeah, you should.
It's kind of a crazy story, too. I think I told you a
Yeah,
little
I think
bit.
you've told me
We met
parts
on
of it.
Farmers Only,
Yeah,
randomly. I was
yes.
making fun of people, and
Yeah.
God was like, oh, you want to make fun of people? I'm
Yeah.
going to make you marry one of them. So you
Yeah.
have to tell everybody for the rest of your life that you met him on Farmers
On
Only.
Farmers Only. Listen, I love the Farmers Only story, but I will say when I first saw that commercial come out,
I never saw the commercial,
there
so I
was
didn't know what it
commercials.
was.
You need to go YouTube Farmers
My
Only
friend Brittany
commercials.
was like, oh, you don't know what Farmers Only is? Farmers Only, and she's from California. Like, she's
Yeah.
not even country. She was like, you have never seen the commercials? And I'm like, no. She's like, oh, let's make a profile. So I did, not knowing how redneck it was and all the memes of, there's all kinds of making fun of Farmers Only out
Yeah,
there,
I
right?
mean-
It's very like
But
people of Walmart,
I don't know, like
quality.
I think that there's some opportunity there and growth, obviously. You guys
Well, I
did
met
great.
my husband on there.
Yeah.
So, you
So
know.
never say never.
But when I met him,
the commercials, I feel like whoever was in charge of their marketing did a really like not great job of like.
I know, I feel like they should put me and him on there and they would get
yeah,
more business.
They would probably get more business.
I sent them a letter and I sent pictures and everything that we were like this success story, expecting to hear from them.
and they didn't.
They never
That's
responded.
funny. I would do it again.
They might be out of business at this point. I
They
don't
might.
know.
I don't know where they're at now.
I don't know either because I deleted my profile like the
Sure.
next day.
Yeah.
I didn't
'Cause
expect.
you found him.
Well, no, because I got on there, made fun of people, and he was like, "Oh, you know, you own a landscape company," because I owned a landscape
Yeah,
company
I
for
remember that,
like
yeah.
a couple years. And he's like, "I can operate a skid steer. I'm looking for side work." It was COVID, and he was
And
just
I
doing
think you
side
should
jobs.
know, it's not just farmers
I
only.
thought-
There's a lot of things to make fun of on dating apps, just in general.
Well, yeah.
There's a lot to them.
Well,
so,
this was extreme.
yeah.
I need to show pictures.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But no, I was like, thought I was going to meet a construction worker to interview him, to hire him to be a skid steer operator. And I get there and I'm like, who's this? And he hugged me, of course.
Did he really?
He did.
You guys were both huggers right off the bat.
Yeah, he's a big hugger.
Oh, you were match made.
And
in
he
heaven.
smelled good.
Yeah.
And he was wearing like golf shorts and like a polo.
Cool.
He has all his teeth, beautiful teeth,
Yeah.
beautiful blue eyes, beautiful hair. You know, he's just beautiful. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
I got catfished, but backwards.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I was very shocked
Yeah.
by what I saw. And that was it. Like, he drove me home. And I was actually in
Did you
San
take a
Angelo.
tractor?
I was in San Angelo when I met him with a friend of
Oh,
mine,
really?
helping her mom in the garage sale, which was 2.5 hours from where I lived. And he drove me home. Wow. Which is that's what I'm saying. It's like
That's
a whole
lot.
story.
You guys need it. You need to do a show.
It was a
with
God
that.
thing.
It
for
definitely
sure.
was.
Like, God put us together.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking to his mom. She came to visit this weekend, and we were talking about that story and trying to tell her kind of my side, because she was like freaking out because he just took off and was gone for a couple of days, and she was like, she didn't have him on the Find My yet.
Yeah.
And now she has him on Find My, but
That never ends for us mothers.
she was like blowing his phone up, and he's like, my mom keeps calling me, and I'm like, you're a grown man. I mean, I'm a little older than him, a couple of years older than him, but I'm like, you're a grown man.
Yeah.
Like, why is your mom calling you all the time?
Yeah.
That's kind of a red flag.
Yeah.
And your
Well,
sister.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, they're just worried about me because I don't do stuff like this. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, that's good.
Yeah. You're like, cool.
Because at first I was terrified. I thought he might be like, you know, a serial killer or something.
Yeah.
But
But you still got in the car with him and let him drive you home.
I was scared the whole time.
Yeah.
Like trembling. Like my heart was pounding out of my watch kept buzzing because I have like, no, I didn't have this watch. I think it was just in my brain was buzzing.
Yeah, probably. But like it all worked
I was
out. It
terrified, but
cool.
I had a gun and I had pepper spray.
Oh, then you were ready.
I used to carry a gun because I was a real estate agent and a
Yeah.
landscaper, and I was out in the hill country, out in Caney Lake and all these places on jobs like way out in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of grown men.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you have to.
I was packing.
You need to be prepared.
I went and got my LTC license. It was right after the church in Fort Worth got shot up.
Oh, yeah.
That was my preacher's church.
Was it really?
It was. The preacher I grew up with. He's done like all of our, weddings and funerals and all this stuff. And his name's Britt Farmer. He's amazing. But that was his church. And I signed up that day online to get my LTC license. And I went and bought my first gun. And my first gun was not very good as a Taurus. It was cheap.
Yeah.
And I traded it and got me a really nice, it's a, what is it called? It's a, I can't remember now.
I'm not great at gun stuff.
I'm not a handgun person. I'm more of a shotgun
Yeah.
girl. I love Benelli.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite. But I have a really nice 20 gauge I just bought a few years ago. It's beautiful.
Do
and
you
I can just shoot it.
go? You got to go practice on them though, right?
I need to practice my 9mm again. I haven't played with it in a long time.
See, and that's the thing. You got to go you got to go stay.
I don't
active
carry
on
it
'em.
anymore. My husband
Yeah.
carries it now because he goes to Jersey Village every day.
Oh yeah. So he's got to be
needs
prepared.
it.
Yeah.
And he knows how to use it.
Yeah.
Except when he's trying to shoot snakes. I'm like, you can't shoot a snake with it's a 9mm Hellcat. Who makes Hellcat? Dick, do you know? I feel like Dick is a connoisseur of
know.
guns. He looks like a gun guy.
He does look like a gun guy.
Yeah, I feel like Springfield. Yes, it is. And it's like the sand color. So it blends in with your skin because I carried it sometimes on my leg.
Yeah.
Because I wore dresses sometimes.
Yeah.
If I have to pull up my dress to shoot my gun, I will.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
so Western right now. So Western up in Conroe.
I mean, I'm kind of
no, but I mean,
like,
yes, I get
I'm
it.
a city girl, but I'm also like,
No.
my dad worked at UT for 25 years.
Yeah.
So, I was in the city.
Yeah.
But my mother is very like hippie. And then my stepdad
Yeah.
was this total redneck, like shoot horses for a living for a long time. And he worked in construction. I mean, redneck. So my name when I was a photographer, I know I've had all these jobs, was redneck hippie chick, and chick was like chic. So it was like my stepdad, my
yeah.
mom, and my dad.
Yeah.
Like that's who I am.
Yeah.
I'm like this combination.
I just call that cowboy. I'm from Utah. We just call that cowboy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we all grew up around guns. And
You grew up in Utah?
Yeah.
Are you a Mormon?
not now.
You're not now?
No.
You converted? Or are you just nothing?
No, I feel like I'm something, but I'm not Mormon. There's a lot to it.
I
It's
want to go
very-
to Utah. I was just watching, it's like this national park secrets thing on documentary.
It's gorgeous.
So there's
Utah's
all these,
beautiful.
secrets to the national parks.
Yeah.
And Utah is on there for a bunch of their little parks. And
Yeah. Oh, well, Utah has the most national parks in the U.S.
There's like 5 or 6, right?
5 of them, and they're beautiful.
So beautiful.
Now that I want to,
and
like,
lakes.
nobody moved there. Go visit. But,
yeah, I don't want to move there.
no, I'm just kidding, because they're just getting bombarded with people. But,
So are we.
yeah, so are we. But Utah's beautiful. It's like,
yeah.
but you would be like, I mean, I grew up as a rodeo queen, and
I could see that.
like, are my whole family shoes.
I could see that.
My dad rides mules.
Okay.
Yeah, like total
Mules, huh?
we
He
just call it
rides
cowboy.
mules?
Yeah. So my dad shifted from horses to mules when I was like 11, 12.
Why?
And I used to ride with him. My parents were divorced. And so on his weekends, we'd go camping every single week. And that I was with him. So he went from horses to mules.
That's why you're so outdoorsy.
Yeah, I'm so outdoorsy. I'm kind of like, I like Houston, but I'm stuck with like, I need to go outside a lot.
Me too.
It's hard. Like I have to go, like I have to get my daily juice of outside. So it gets hard sometimes in Houston. They're a better ride. Like I know that sounds ridiculous to say, but like they watch where they're going better. Like horses just kind of stumble. Like you've all been on them and they'll stumble once or twice, but mules
the
are
way
like
they walk is more like clickety.
Yeah, I mean mules are like a rocking chair.
Yeah.
I
They
wouldn't
take their time.
Yeah, but they are stubborn. Like sometimes like there would be like water and stuff.
Stubborn as a mule?
Yeah, they will not. If they don't want to do something,
They won't do it.
It's really hard to get them to do it. Yeah.
You should read that book, Strong-Willed Child.
Maybe
it'll help.
on my list after today. But yeah, like,
I wonder if that'll work.
so that's just cowboy stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, my husband is a ranch manager.
Yeah.
So he grew up on a farm. He was a ranch manager. We had a show. Did you listen to the show? The Sustainable Rancher?
No, I didn't see that one.
He was on the show, and he graduated from TCU Ranch Management. So
cool.
he knows a lot about stuff like that. I don't.
After high school, I went to Montana and worked on a guest ranch.
Nice.
It was fun.
Yeah, my son.
A lot of work though. Oh my gosh, like so much labor.
My son is interested in the ranch management program.
Should do
My
it.
16-year-old, but he's also interested in being a pilot and interested in being a real estate agent. So who knows?
He should be interested
you can do
in
all
like,
of it.
Yeah, do them all, but definitely do like trades because those are
I'm
like the
if
last of the Mohicans.
You can do
are dying.
like learn ranch management, and
Yeah.
then you can run a ranch, and then you can do real estate on the side. Anybody can do real estate, and you can invest in real estate.
Yeah.
And then get your pilot license, and anybody can fly. That's a
You need
hobby.
to fly to like check on your fences.
Yeah, you put a runway on your ranch.
Exactly.
I'm like, I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, I am teaching you. My parents didn't teach me anything. No offense, Dad. I love you to death. You did teach me stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't think my parents really didn't talk to me a lot about career paths. And I don't think that was a big thing when I was growing up.
Yeah, I think there's a weird generational gap with that because like my parents were not that way either. My dad was just like, just don't hate your job. Yeah. That was about as much info as I got.
Well, my dad was like, don't go to college unless you know what you want to do because you're going to just waste a bunch of money. Because he worked at UT. So he was like, don't. And then my stepdad was like, he didn't have it. He was uneducated. He was a cowboy, And then my mother was hippie. I don't know. She was just an artist, kind of starving artist-ish.
Yeah.
She did have a computer science degree she got when I was in high school, but they just didn't really talk to me
I just don't
about
think
they were in computers too.
They weren't
like,
as involved
mostly.
as we are.
And I was not into computers.
Yeah.
I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Not for me. So I just didn't know that there was all these other options.
Outlets and options.
Right? And now with the internet and social media, and we see all these different options, and wow, you can just Google how to be a blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like how to be a pilot. Like you don't even have to have a college degree to be a pilot. No. It is preferred by a lot of, if you want to be if
you want to work for commercial something, right?
It is preferred, but there's just so many avenues that you're. And I talk to my kids about all these different, like, well, you can do this, you can do this. So their minds are opened up. And I tell them, like, you're my retirement plan. So
get it together.
I'm investing in you.
No, I mean, but I think you're right. Like my parents were never like, hey, let's like get you kind of preparing to think about outside the box stuff.
My dad was like, marry a lawyer.
Yeah.
That was his thing.
Like I just
marry a lawyer.
There wasn't a whole lot of like advice of like, and I think like too at that time, like at least where I came from, because I'm from small town USA, you went to college and there was like 3 things you could pick from. Like you were either a beautician or you got a business degree.
My dad did ask me,
or you
were like, be a beautician.
That's about it. Like there was like 3 options. It wasn't like it is now.
Yeah.
So many opportunities now.
He gave me the signal.
Oh, okay.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5
Yeah.
minutes to closing time.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you about your other venture.
Yeah.
Because you've had some other ventures. You've tried
Yeah.
little things like you're talking about. You do your home warranty thing.
Yeah.
But then you had a kid, so you know now you're working for a family. You've got
Yeah.
to support
So,
your
and
kid.
there's-
But you have also had several little endeavors on the side,
Did.
correct? And your husband as well, right?
Yeah.
He's been in real estate and
He did commercial real estate, still does do some of that. I bought a clothing company and I really enjoyed that, but then COVID killed it. Like it was because it was very primarily like, and it's, I mean, we should all talk about
and
failures.
everybody's doing it. Etsy.
Yeah, like, and we should talk about failures because that was one thing that I do think like I kind of failed on that card, but like, and I'm not even blaming so much just COVID, but it was one of those situations where it was more for like bachelorette parties and weddings and cruises. And then when all that stuff kind of stopped,
Yeah.
the clientele just slowed down.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that happens with
Well,
that
that's most time when
business-
people order like a bunch of T-shirts is when they're doing
Yeah.
something. Like
Yeah.
I did a run thing when I was a real estate agent. I had sponsored a group of running people for suicide prevention. I had shirts made.
Right.
But then when COVID hit, they didn't do it that year.
Yeah. They didn't
didn't
do it
have a
for a
run.
while. Yeah. Like,
You can't run with a mask on.
yeah. I mean, and so there was a lot of that, but then also you also have to enjoy it too. There was a piece to it that I didn't exactly love because you had to also design stuff, and a lot of that takes a lot of time.
I
so
love
like,
doing stuff like that.
yes, you do, but for $12 an hour is really hard to like wrap your mind around, right? So
Right.
like where I'm going with that is like you can go to Amazon and get it next day. So orders would come in and they'd be like, "Hey, I want this, this, and this that I picked off of Google, and it's going to take 22 edits, and I want it for $12.95 tomorrow." And it's just like that's impossible, So like to our small business owners out there, those guys need some time. Like they need some prep time.
Right.
They don't have big industrial
can't do it
machines,
cheap.
and they can't do it for they can't. So,
But you should still
but
support
you're paying
them.
you're paying for, again, we're back to quality, right? And so it was just one of those things that
And you're supporting your local community.
you should,
That's
you
really
want
important.
to as much as you can. So that was one thing that like I tried it, but it didn't work for me. I'm happy to admit that like, hey, it failed, but like I learned a lot from it.
Oh,
my
I owned
gosh,
a landscape company.
yeah,
And,
I mean, I learned so much from it, and
I
I
learned
think,
employees are terrible.
yeah, there's a lot to so much stuff, right? Like, gosh, I could ramble off so many things that it takes to make one t-shirt, and it would blow your mind. But the things that I learned from like a business perspective on that, good. Like that, you can't buy that. You know what I mean? Experience you can't buy. So
That is true.
Yeah, it's true.
I loved like all my little ventures. I was a photographer for 10 years and
yeah,
I left because I got arthritis really bad and
Yeah.
just my body was not loving being on my feet for 12 hours and holding a 12-pound camera.
yeah,
I still do it, for my kids, of course, like their
Yeah.
sports. I love doing sports
Yeah.
photography now.
and
Something
you
I
should
never
do
thought
it
I
when
would
you
do.
love it. Yeah, I mean, and that's also a weird
Or like nature
subject
photography.
too, or like you start something as
But it's not a
something
hobby.
you love, and then
Yeah.
you try to make money at it, and then it kind of takes away the like
The
whimsical,
love. Yeah.
and then you go back to being like, okay,
For sure,
so-
landscaping. I love landscaping.
Yeah.
I love if you ever need anything with landscaping, you want to bounce some ideas off me or know what plants to buy or you want me to come look at your yard, I would love to do it just because
good.
I love to do it.
yeah.
That's
I
not
don't
I'm
know
not
anything.
advertising that, guys. But if
Because I know nothing. I don't have a green thumb.
I started doing my own yard,
Yeah.
and then I had friends that were like, "Hey, I love your yard." They knew I did it, and so I would help them with theirs. And then I had clients that I'd be like, "Y'all really need to do your yard. Like, I'm gonna list this house, but your yard looks terrible. Let's go buy some mulch and put some flowers and trim some trees." And I would just do it myself
Yeah.
because they didn't want to spend the money, and I
Right.
wanted to move the house, and it was
Right.
very little,
Right.
for me to do out of pocket. And it just blew up. And suddenly, like, people were like, "Hey, can you come over here and do a bid for me?" And I'm like, "Sure." And it's like an $80,000 landscape job. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. During COVID, just started. So I'm like YouTubing how to, make French drains and
Yeah.
how to put in sod and
Self-taught,
I go
YouTube.
talk to all the local vendors, like the materials people and the nurseries. And
Yeah.
luckily, one of my very close friends is a landscape architect, so she helped me with designs and advice and stuff. she just didn't actually know a lot about actually installing it and dealing with employees. I loved most of my people, but in the landscape world, it's mostly Hispanic people, and they don't really like white women telling them what to do. And that's not trying to be racist. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. And
that's their culture, and I accept that. But I struggled because they wouldn't listen to me. And then when I hired my husband, would come on the job site, like, to help, they would be like talking to him like he was the boss. And I'm like, he's my employee.
Yeah. You're like, I know, it's a hard struggle, right?
So I was just like, maybe this isn't for me. Then I was like, well, maybe he can grow it. But we moved here, and,
I mean, and I think that's life.
So we had that failure, and I felt like, man, I spent all this time and money and effort building this amazing thing, and I had to let it go, and I cried.
Yeah.
But, did you feel like did you
yeah.
cry?
I was really upset about it because it takes a minute to, like, absorb that you kind of have to let a chapter go and close it. Yeah. And then I only got rid of that machine like a month and a half ago. Like, and I stopped doing it like 3 years ago because I was just like, maybe. And I kept running like treatments through it and stuff. But then I was like, no, like, it's just time to, and we've launched the vodka now, and the vodka's going really good.
Okay. So yes.
Yeah. So vodka.
NOFOMO.
Yeah. NOFOMO.
So vodka. What does that stand for?
So it's no fear of missing out. So it's a hashtag. Right?
No FOMO.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
such a Miami thing to say.
Yeah. So the big hashtag is FOMO, right? Like, we've
Right.
heard, oh, that's giving me FOMO. So we added no FOMO, so no fear of missing out. And what we mean in that, well, two reasons. One, the magical reason that I like is, like, no fear of whatever you want to do in life. Whatever you're into, whatever you want to be, don't have fear about it. Like, whatever it is that makes you happy, go out and do. The other side of it is you're not missing out on a good product that has good ingredients and good price. So we don't do additives in ours at all. It's made with corn, and it's much more affordable than other guys on the market. So it was kind of one of those things. It is clean.
I'm all about the clean.
It is clean, and very clean. So we owned a bar and restaurant, and we had partners in that. Here's another thing about business that you learn. You don't always
Do you not still own that?
No.
Okay.
Because another thing in business that you learn is sometimes you learn who your business partners are sometimes after you get in business with them.
Of course. Sometimes you learn who your partners are in
and
general.
then you're just like, sometimes you see red flags that you didn't see before, and then you no longer want to be kind of associated in that sense with it, right? So there were things that were just not clicking with the three of us. And so there's that. And then also, you cannot own a liquor label and a bar.
Oh.
So there's so many Texas liquor laws that I've had to read up on, and that is one. So it was like, okay, well, let's take this venture out on its own. So,
but it's doing really well. It's in all kinds of
It's all over Conroe, Montgomery.
Are y'all like in Specs?
We're in Specs. We're in Total Wine.
Okay.
Woodlands is the closest Total Wine. Specs is the one off of Rayford.
And then I know you're at Pacific Yard House.
Yeah, we're at Pacific Yard House. We're in a bunch of spots all the way up 105. So like Papa's on the Lake. Papa's on the Lake. Sorry. Gosh, I should have wrote a lot of them down. And then we're in a lot of places in the Woodlands too. So we're at like Amarina. We're working on Sawyer Park right now. We're working on. There's a bunch of places just hit and miss. Yeah, there's a lot that it's in, and so and little tiny spots too. And we go all the way downtown. We've got places in Sugar Land. We have 5 different employees, so they're kind of running the streets of Houston in their own territories. And the number one thing though that was important to us when it came to the vodka, because we seen the industry, is that we give back to an organization called CORE, and it stands for, do you know what it stands for?
I think you told me all about this.
So it stands for basically for like restaurant employees is what it stands for.
Don't have like health insurance and stuff like that.
Yeah. So because in the bar and restaurant industry, it's really hard to find insurance unless you're in the upper, like you're a GM or something. But like your typical bartenders, waitresses, waiters, they don't.
Right.
So what it is they can actually file a claim, and like say their son broke their arm, they can file a claim with it, and it will be paid through that organization.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're
And I mean, we're
supporting
doing
a good cause.
It's 5%. I mean, our bottle is 1 liter and it's like $21.99.
So it's affordable. It's
way
clean.
affordable. It's clean.
for a good cause.
Yeah, we locally do it here in Spring.
So if you like vodka,
Yeah.
no FOMO. You
No
will have
FOMO
no
vodka.
FOMO anymore.
You won't. You won't have no FOMO, and you won't have a headache. Well, I can't guarantee that. Depends on how much you drink of it. But no,
That is something that I don't drink vodka because
Yeah.
I get headaches.
So-
And I don't really know the differences between.
a lot of it has to do with your distilling. So, you know when it smells like rubbing alcohol? That means it hasn't been distilled that much.
Okay.
Like it hasn't been. You can read on the bottle how many times it's been distilled. So if it's like 2 times distilled, it's going to smell like rubbing alcohol. Ours is done 6 times. Most is like 4 to 5.
Okay.
So we do it an extra time, and that's where it kind of gets
Makes
smoother.
that high end.
Makes it smoother.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
We've we've replaced it in a lot of different places with different stuff too. Like they've taken Grey Goose out, or they've taken Tito's out, and we range.
That stuff is terrible.
Yeah, we range. Which one, Tito's or Grey Goose?
Both.
Yeah, Tito's. Well, you know that story. I'd heard that they sold that.
I'm not really a
And
big,
divided
I don't
it. I don't know
drink
how much
stuff
that's
like
true.
that very often, but
Yeah.
when I have like at a holiday party or something, it's, like some kind of chocolate martini and they put vodka in it and they put Grey Goose or all that stuff in it, I'm like massive headache within 30 minutes every single time. So I'm
to
just
get
like,
quality.
I stopped drinking it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm a tequila girl. I'm going to stick to agave tequila.
I do like tequila. Like I will give it that, but yeah, I mean it's been fun. It's been interesting. There's a whole different side of that too. That it's interesting, but it's a fun industry too. It's like real estate. You get to get new stuff every time.
I
every
love
day.
it. I love learning
Yeah.
about different things because I never know any of that stuff. I learned something new today.
Yeah,
And,
it's a lot. It's a lot more to put a bottle on a shelf than you would think.
I can't
There's-
a lot.
there's
But
a
you
lot.
love it?
I do.
Is this your best adventure yet?
Yeah, it's the most exciting. It comes with crazy
I
things.
see it
but-
everywhere. Like people are posting about it, like
Yeah.
friends and realtors. They're like, "Oh my god, I'm here!" And
And I honestly, I have to say thanks to a lot of my real estate community because
Yeah.
I've just got so many awesome supporters.
They
so
love
like
you.
thanks to you guys that are listening to this because they will be watching it because of YouTube.
Well,
but
they
like,
love you, but it's also it's a good.
It's a good product. Yeah, I mean, I have people go, "Oh, I bought a bottle and we went through it and didn't even bought
Wasn't
another
it
one."
Roland Romero posted about it
Yeah,
recently?
he did too. Isn't that sweet?
and he's like a connoisseur of things like
Yeah,
that. I
he
think
is.
he
So
knows
he's
all
like a
about
foodie and
Yes.
he knows it all. Yeah,
He
so
posts pictures of everything all the time. He knows all about it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
he
it's cool.
also knows about real estate. If you call him, talk about the real estate market, he knows the whole.
Oh, he
real
knows
estate market.
everything.
Yeah.
I ran into him at a pickleball tournament the other day, and I just adored listeing and talking to
Yeah,
him.
so he's a nerd.
Yeah, I like
me.
it.
He nerds out.
We like
We talk
nerds.
on the phone for like an hour, and I'm like, I gotta go. I love him. I'm hoping he'll come to we have that happy hour coming up, and I think we're gonna try to give away one of your bottles.
Okay.
So
We should donate one to y'all.
yeah, that would be
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah.
if y'all come to Pacific Yard House on the 15th at between 5 and 7, we're
Yep.
doing a Dia de los Muertos theme. Muertos. I said that wrong. I said like a white person. So Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. Yeah, we're doing.
I wasn't
like,
gonna try and
we're
do it
doing
better. I wasn't-
Loteria, which is like Mexican bingo,
Oh,
and
cool.
we'll do like a giveaway, and we have drink tickets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So super fun.
Yeah.
Just trying to get together, get people connected in the real estate market, and sometimes we just need to like relax.
Yeah. Sometimes you
And,
need
like,
a minute. Take 5.
Chill out for a minute.
Yeah.
It is kid friendly there, so if you have kids,
I know.
you can bring
I'll
a kid.
probably bring mine.
But yeah, so this is Maurie. You can reach her at her direct line, 832-732-3152. She's at Choice Home Warranty. She also has NOFOMO Liquor. They have a website, nofomoliquor.com, choicehomewarranty.com, and everything will be posted in the description on the show. This is Mixup with Maurie.
Yeah.
Mixing up,
This is as
drinks.
good as we could
Mixing
come.
up
Yeah.
warranties.
Yeah, we're mixing it
up
all up.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her to death.
Thank you
and
for
thank
having
coming
me.
on.
I'm excited for this. Your show's doing good.
Yeah, we'll have to do this again for sure.
I know, it's
There's
fun.
always something new to talk about. Your
Always.
next adventure.
Whew, I'm going to stick with this one for a minute, but these are my full-time things. So,
And your kid.
and
your
my
husband.
kid and my husband,
All right,
my
girl.
life. So.
We'll see y'all soon.
Bye.
Bye.